We are still dealing with physics here, I just want you to remember that. So says Erich Heuschele, manager of SRT Vehicle Dynamics, to the 20 or so riders he's about to turn loose on a racetrack in the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. We're dealing with physics, sure, but also an earnest effort to defy them with equal parts horsepower and lunacy. Say 707 horsepower Jeep to anyone who hasn't been paying attention and they just wiggle a finger into an ear and squint at you. Huh? That same phrase, the one with the big number lashed to that old army word, carries the mystical power to convince even the most jaded auto writers to back away from the lobster roll. And on a balaclava we did drive a Maximum Jeep on public roads, but it says track right there in the name, so we also hit Club Motorsports, a New Hampshire club track so new that crews were still installing Armco barriers the week before we showed up. It's a 2.5-mile StairMaster that works its way up and down 250 feet of elevation change at a maximum 14% grade. Keeping his new Trackhawks from bending that fresh Armco is something about which Heuschele cares deeply. The topography, on the other hand, nobody's too worried about that. Few things flatten the hills quite like this much horsepower. Insane as it may be, the 707 horsepower Hellcat engine should at least be familiar by now, down 251 cubic centimeters compared with Mopper's naturally aspirated SRT engine. It's a 6.2-liter V8 capped with a 2.4-liter inline supercharger, which stuffs those 8 cylinders with 11.6 psi of boost. In the Trackhawk, it makes its full complement of horsepower but loses 5 pound-feet of torque to 645, due to a more restrictive exhaust system caught up in a sledgehammer fight against the V8. Engineers applied the same blunt force mentality to the rest of the powertrain. There's a beefier transmission and a stouter transfer case, plus a reinforced rear drive shaft, half shafts, CV joints, and differential. The front axle is the same as the regular SRT Jeeps. That transmission is still a ZF 8-speed, now christened 8 horsepower 95 and officially rated to handle up to 811 pound-feet of torque.